Yeah, students, please respond. Good morning, I said to you. So, good morning, all, once again. Yeah, Mr. Sunny and Ravi Kumar and David. So, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, you don't want to give a response, right? So, please be respond the things which I made it in the post box. Right? So, very good morning once again to all. So, in my last session, it is on day of Saturday, I think so. We done with my servlets, and that is this that completes our unit 4 of my servlets programming, and how the servlet has been defined, and how we are using our servlet, and what are the basic steps is required to create our servlet, or basic needs is required to create our servlets. Then what are the life cycle of my servlets we had, and after the servlets, what are the types of servlets we had, and what are the interfaces we are building with the servlets, and what are the class methods we had. And then we have gone through some mechanisms which we call its include and forward mechanism under your send redirect. And also we have done with some session management mechanisms like cookies, how the cookies can be used. Then what do you mean by hidden form field? And then we have URL rewriting, and what do you mean by HTTP session info. So all these things under come what? The session management mechanisms. So what are the methods we are using, and what are the 5 attributes we are using for it, right? So then lastly, we have gone through what is the servlet event means, what do you mean by event, how we are doing these events, and what are the interfaces we had. These are the things we have just done with my last session. So coming to today's session, so as we are going to start our new chapter or unit, as I can say, it's a JSP, so which we call as a Java Server Pages. So when we are using this Java Server Pages, why we need to go Java Server Pages, and what is the advantage I had over my Java Server Pages. So the things as today class we need to discuss. So is it same like as my servlet, or any difference I can find? So some of the introduction parts first we'll try to cover for this today's session, right? So hope you are ready to take the points into consideration. So before going to these things, right? Anyone can just make it clear the things. Why or what are the mainly problems we can have with my servlets? Can anyone can define, or can anyone say, respond in chat box that what are the disadvantages or what are the things is observed by you that I can avoid my servlets? Because I told whenever we are going for any new application we are developing, we had some drawbacks with my previous application. Then only I am moving for new thing, right? So in your before your WhatsApp, we had Yahoo Messenger. So then why we are going with WhatsApp? Something we identified the things which cannot be developed by Yahoo Messenger, or something is not maybe user compatibility issues we had it. That's why we are going with WhatsApp Messenger. Then maybe in future the WhatsApp can be replaced with other thing. But same way here I am saying I had some issues with my servlets. Can anyone let me know at least 1 or 2 issues which I can have with my servlets, so that I can conclude that this is maybe the drawbacks which I can have with my servlet. Then only I am going with next one we call as the JSP. Yes, anyone? Can you respond? in the chat box, or you can just have your voice message. Can you define or can you elaborate what can be the drawbacks with my servlets? Come on, I'm expecting an answer from any one of you, those who have done, because as you had tomorrow your examination, at least you have done some preparation. So in that preparation, have you found any queries with your servlets, and why we don't require to go with servlets? I need a response from your side. Please do it fast so that I can go with my new technology, I can say. Yes. Anyone? No one is ready? What happened? You can't find any difficulty with your servlet? Mr. Sunny? Would you respond? Can't find any difficulty with your servlets? Everything is fine? Thinking on it, okay? Please think about the thing. Kencho? Can you say something we had with my servlet? Why? I need to go next. Come on, yaar. No. No answers. Yeah, Arfat joined. Mr. Arfat can respond. Yeah. Sunny is giving us some answer, right? In servlet programming, if you want to use implicit objects, we need to cite some additional code to order, additional code in order to access them. Can you say what are the implicit objects, Sunny? Fastly. We need to add each servlet to XML file. Okay. Yes, I can accept with your answer. Don't take much time, Mr. Sunny. Please do it fast. If you know what are the implicit objects, you can respond very fastly. Implicit means what? Let me know what. Inside or outside? Come on, yeah. They're taking so much time. Kencho, inside, yeah, of course. Can you give the objects, implicit objects, what we had in my servlets? Mr. Arfat, what are the implicit objects we had in my servlet programming? No. So taking so much time to Google it and think we need to find, right? So implicit objects may be request, response, and a service for object you are making for database connection, CON, and we are going with what? An object called session, out. All these are called, yes, Kencho have given out, right? So all these are called what? The implicit objects. So one thing is given by Sunny is that in servlet programming, we need to use implicit objects and we need to write some additional code in order to access them. Yes, it is right. So when I use my servlet, what happens? I need to use some of the objects to access that objects. We need to import some packages. We need to write a class file. Then we need to call my class. Then I need to generate my object. Then I call my method. These many things is happening in my servlets. That I can say one of the thing we can add it. And other than, we had so many drawbacks. So not so many. I can just make it as short. The drawbacks what we had with my servlets. And why I need to move JSP, just that is only what we are going to discuss in my today's session, right? So before going to that, as I'm mentioning clearly, the JSP stands for what? Java Server Pages, right? So, and this JSP is consisting of two types of tags, not a single type of tags. Previously, your servlet is containing only HTML tags, but Now your JSP is consisting of two tags. What are the two tags? HTML tag and JSP, which means that I am going to generate the JSP page, that is with the extension of .jsp, by including two types of tags. What are the two types of tags now? HTML tag is one and JSP tag is another one. And JSP pages are very easier to maintain. What is the JSP? Scripting language. It is one of my scripting language. And as I'm saying, it is easier to maintain than Servlet. Why? Because as when we go for with Servlet, first I will explain with your Servlet. Your designing logic and your application or development logic can be taken into as a one path. Means the both will be mixed up for designing part as well as your application part, or I can say the development part is mixed up as a one, so that we cannot understand, or if any person which are newer to your programming language, he cannot able to understand which part is design and which part is a development, which is I can call as a mixture of your design and development can be done in Servlet programming. But where when we use with your JSP programming, that is your JSP scripting language, right, we can add separation of your design and development. We can make a separation. How we are doing that we can see when we are discussing with example programming. But as of now, you try to get into the point that there is a separation between your designing and development logic. With whom it happens? With my JSP. But whereas in my Servlet, everything is a mixture. Coming to next, as you mentioned, the one drawback is already given by Mr. Sunny, that we need to create some implicit objects, right? Not only that implicit of objects, when we are comparing that at that time you will get that point, but not only that, when you make a request, actually how the servlets will be executed, hope everyone can remember. Web client is making a request, right? And that request should be accepted by your web server. And to that request, the process can be taken place. What do you mean the process can be taken place? Verifies what the request is coming and what are the suitable servlet I need to go for it. Then I need to design some logic for it, right? And that to be handled. Then once a suitable servlet has been found with a proper business logic, then we are going to generate our output using your response object, and that to be sent back to your client machine. These are the things we need to done at your server side as well as client side. But who is going to do all these things? Who is going to handle all these things? Alonely the servlet can do it. Alone the servlet will do all the things which we had it now. But not only that one thing, whenever you want to have or whenever you want to create a servlet, minimum to minimum you need to have basic Java programming language knowledge and HTML knowledge is required. I told when I started my servlet only. Without having a programming of Java language, it is a bit difficult to generate your servlets. So that is a second thing. And third thing, if you do any modifications by application programmer or a programmer, if you do any modification to your servlet, compulsory that modification to be affected to your .class file also. Means we need to modify our .class file also. What is the reason is, you know the reason. When you compile your .java, there we are going to generate your .class file. So some modifications is required. What you are doing in your compilation process, hope you have seen in my practical exposure that I have shown that if any small modification we are doing, always we need to go for clean and build, then only I can go for a compilation. Why? Because automatically the previous class file will be clean and build a new class file. So that thing what I can do in my servlet. So all these three what I just make it to you is a one three drawbacks I can say directly or indirectly. But how it is, we can already seen these things when we are doing our servlets, right? So what first thing, everything is handled by your servlet as a alone for the things which is happening at your server side. And second thing, I can say that whenever you want to generate any servlet, compulsory you need to have basic programming knowledge about the Java, and scripting language of your markup language is called HTML is required. And next one, if you go for any changes to your application program, then automatically we need to go for some changes to your class also. Entire class is going to be changed because the reason is one is depend on another. So because of these drawbacks, I can say that I can move to the next technology or next scripting language, which can be executed over client side as well as server side. Both it is possible, but we prefer to use our technology only at server side only. So what is that? And that is coming to my next. This is what an advantages I can find, right? This is an advantages I can find over Servlet, my JSP, some of the advantages. So what is advantages? So it is extension of Servlet, I'm saying first. But what do you mean it? What do you mean by extension to Servlet? So whenever you are writing any JSP programming, or whenever you are making your JSP technology, so whatever the features I had from Servlet, every feature can be deployed. Means I can use every feature of my servlet. Not only that, in addition to that, we can use implicit objects and some of the defined tags already, which we call as a predefined tags. And here it is a very, very important. I can define my EL. What is the EL stands for? Expression language. And not only that, we can define our own tags. We can call it as a customized tags, which makes my JSP development is very easier. What you understand about by considering this point, JSP also using servlet concepts. Means if you want to know about JSP, should know something about servlet. That is a one point we got it. And we need to have some programming knowledge skill, but not that much compared as your servlets. So for servlets, a purely code-based approach. Purely it is code-based approach. But whereas your JSP, its code is bit less, and what I can say, scripting language is more. I can say tags are more because I am taking the help of two tags, HTML as well as JSP tags is included. So I can reduce some code. So it is easier to maintain, I can say. Why I can make it easier to maintain? Because as previously only I told to you, a business logic and your presentation logic, both are mixed up in your servlet, whereas you come to your JSP, it is not a mixture. It is maintaining in one page only, or it is maintaining in one file only, but they are managed separately. They are managed separately. This is two advantages. Not only these two, we had third advantage is fast development can be done. Why I'm saying fast development? What is the reason is, as previously only I have told, when you do any modification to your servlet program, then automatically we need to go for recompile and redeploy, because .java is depends on .class. Every time you do modification, every time you need to go for recompilation and redeploy. It says deployment is not faster, or I can say deployment is very slow, but it cannot happen with my JSP. If you modify any JSP page, then I don't require go for any recompilation and redeploy. Why? What is the reason? Because I told already, the JSP's code is very less, tax utilization is more. Automatically it can be saved in. Not only that, there will be two phases we had. One is a translation phase, one is a compilation phase. Everything can be settled there only. We can see that later, but just as of now, what I can say, modifications, if you do anything for JSP, we don't require recompile and redeploy. As I mentioned already, it's containing less code compared with your servlet. Because why? Reason is, I'm going to use some action tags, and I'm going to use some JSTL. What is the JSTL stands for? Java Server Tag Libraries. Java Server Pages, standard tag libraries. We can use it, and we can define some customized tags, which reduces our code. And moreover, we can use our expression language and some implicit objects, etc. All these things we are keeping in one JSP file, which reduces the code, which increases our scripting tags. Because of these four reasons, I can say I can prefer what? JSP compared with your servlets. So overall, when you just try to observe the things, I can make one comparison table for you. So in this comparison, what you can just make it, servlet is pure Java code, but whereas JSP is not a pure, I told already, it's a tag based approach. And when I want to go for servlets, everything we need to write in what? HTML. We write HTML in servlet code. But whereas in JSP, we write JSP code in HTML. Try to get into the point. HTML code in servlet we can write. In the JSP code we can write in the HTML. Try to observe the difference here. And we are mix-upping the things what I just made it. And we can't run JavaScript at client side, but we can run our JavaScript at client side. And as I told, servlets are a bit tougher to code because everything is pure Java code. We need to know something about the functions, interfaces, methods. So many things we need to have some prior knowledge about it. So it's a bit difficult or a bit tough to develop our servlet. But whereas in the JSP, it may contain some code. We need to remember something, but not that much compared with my servlet. And whenever a client making a request to the server, when a client making a request to the server, automatically what happens? There we are creating information about your user. We call as a state of user or user data created in the form of what? Either it may be cookie or it may be your session management, or it can be the URL rewriting, or it can be done hidden form field. For accessing all these things, what you need actually, you need to have some session object, right? This session management by default is done in the JSP, but whereas in servlets, you need to import the package, you need to call your class. Once the class has been called, you need to create an object for that session. Then using that session, you are going to use your method session dot what? Session dot get cookie, session dot add cookie, session dot get cookie parameters. Everything we are using once your session management is enabled. But JSP, come to my JSP, defaultly this is enabled. We don't go for any separate creation of any session management. And coming to my servlets, don't have any implicit objects. We need to create it. But JSP does have implicit objects, which we can, as I told already, examples, request, response, session, out. These objects have implicitly, we can add it. But they don't have in the servlets, we need to create it. And in the servlets, packages, you know what is a packages? It's a group of classes. Packages are to be imported at the top of servlet. It is a rule. When you create any web application using your NetBeans IDE, defaultly the packages are imported. Then after the package, you are come to your class, then you are going to use some objects, then accessing. But whereas your JSP packages can be imported anywhere in the JSP code. So this is what somewhat comparisons we had with my servlet with JSP. So by seeing this something what we cannot have in the servlet, we can have in my JSP. So that is the reason I can go for with JSP. Here I made it advantages, I made it a comparison. So finally a conclusion is JSP is a better scripting language. A JSP is a technology which I can preferably use when you compare with what? Servlets. That conclusion I made it. But how to use? What is the life cycle? What is the architecture? We can come just in the next presentation only. Now I'm going to present. But as of now, any queries from your side? Yes. Why we are moving to my JSP? You had a clarity now? Implicit object is not there in both. No. Implicit objects are there in your JSP as a default. Like response, request, out, where we are creating in servlet with the help of your object, like request and response, we need to create a separate class for it. We need to call the packages. Everything can be done. In both we had it, but we can defaultly use in JSP, but whereas in your servlets, we need to define or we need to create ourselves, which it increases our code also. I told that the same thing, right? Why the code is increasing is this is the reason. Hope you got my point. Any more queries regarding with this? If no queries, I can move to the next slide, where the slide focus on how your JSP works, or I can say it is an architecture of my JSP. So I'm moving into next. After the comparisons, so this is my architecture of my JSP, right? So what happens in the JSP? Just have a closer look with your architecture. So it's similar to your servlets or somewhat changes is taken place. Just try to get into the point. There we are calling a web container. Everything is handled by web container. Here it is handled by your JSP container. As usual, the web client is making a request, right? Request for what file? Not .java servlet. Request for JSP file. So just have a look. So it's a request for JSP file using any method like get or post method. It's request for JSP. Then, as I told already, it's a scripting language which we are executing at the server side over my web server. Your JSP file will be there. And what is the JSP file name is hello.jsp. Once the request has been received by the web client, the hello.jsp file will make use of one phase which we call as translation, or I can say conversion. So the conversion has been taken from JSP is going to be converted into .java. So once again it becomes your servlet. But as I told, it may not contain that much code as your servlet contains. So once you made a request by your client, it goes for JSP, and JSP is converted into your servlet. That is the source code of .java file, and that .java is compiled to get your .class file. So conversion of your .jsp to .java is called transition phase, and conversion of your .java into .class is called as what? Compilation phase. You know this one already, but this one is a newer thing which we added in my servlets. Then once you have generated, or once you have compiled .class file, a response has been generated, and that response is going to get back to my client machine, and that response will be given to my client machine. So how this ASP programs will execute, we have some rough idea, right? Now same thing, as I just go for with an example. Here the same thing, I'm going with the stepwise. Anything is okay, but there I just made it orally. Here I'm just making the things in detail about it, right? So first, client in step number 1, using my get method, requesting for one JSP file. What is the JSP file? Hello.jsp, and everything is operated with your server with a JSP container. When you get a get method with hello.jsp as a request, it has been a read method. Using a read, it get back to my container, and this container will convert your .jsp into .java, and whatever the thing is happening in the step 2 and 3, we are calling it as a translation phase. Once it has been done into .java, let's go for compilation in the step number 4, and that will be executed over your JSP container to generate one file. What is that file? The name is called hello servlet.class, and previously it is hello servlet.java. And what is that? This phase is called as a compilation phase, which we can call our 4 to 5, which is going on. And finally, once the execution is taken place, so compilation has been done, execution has done, and it's get back to 1 second to my JSP container. Sorry, directly it's going to your JSP container to get back your request to the client using some protocol mechanism, and that will be get as your output. This is how the working procedure of your JSP. The same thing here, as clearly we are saying in the next one. What happens here? These are the following steps where my JSP architecture shows. What is that? First, web client sends a request to a browser. For what purpose? For a JSP page with extension what? Remember, the extension should be .jsp. As per the request, right? As per the request, your web server, hereafter we call it as what? JSP container. As your web container we are doing in my servlet, here we call as JSP container, loads the page which is requested by the client. And that responsibility of the JSP container is what? Converting the JSP file into servlet source code file, that is extension with the .java, and what we are calling it as a translation. And that translated file of .java is compiled, which results or which gets an output in the form of what? .class, and what we call it as compilation process. And the .class file of servlet is executed, and the output of execution is sent back to client as a response. Same thing we have seen with pictorial representation. Just I orally explained the total 5 steps has been taken place in my JSP architecture. And how we are having a life cycle of your servlet. So what are the life cycle methods of servlet we had? Anyone? How many methods we had under your life cycle? Yes. How many what is the servlet life cycle? What the servlet life cycle contains? How many methods it contains? So this means that you are not yet started your preparation. 3, yeah, Sunny is right. So what are the 3 methods, Sunny? Can I know? Init, service, and destroy. Exactly. So it contains totally 3 methods like init method, service method, and destroy method. So init method is used for initialization of your servlet, and service method is used to provide a service for the request of the clients, and destroy method is used to destroy the objects which we created for the respective request. So same how we are doing with the servlet, the JSP also containing, what? Its life cycle, and we call it as a JSP life cycle. And this life cycle is explained with 4 major phases. So almost all its same look like your servlet life cycle. But what is that? We'll see that. First, number 1 is a common thing which we had between your servlet and your JSP. What is that? There I am calling init. Here I am calling JSP init, which used for initialize your JSP. Next, as go for a request life cycle. So request life cycle, what is happening? A request response we are getting, and this is a part of your second main logic what we are doing. So JSP service method. So what is the service? Service method will do in the servlets, accepting the request from the client machine and providing the service for their requests, right? So same way here also, as a JSP service is providing a service for your what I can say, the request which is coming from the web client, and handling that request and generating your responses. That is happening in your JSP service method. And the last final thing is a destroy. As we are doing a freeing the memory, or we are making the free the memory for coming objects. So similarly here we need to free the memory. For that we are using the last method is called as what? Destroy method, JSP destroy. So like this, your JSP lifecycle has been used. So the same thing here I'm just making here. What is the first one? When a browser asks for JSP engine, that is what I can say, the JSP service first checks whether it requires to compile the page or not. If page is not compiled, or JSP has been modified since it was last compiled, JSP engine compiles the page. So compilation process, as I'm explaining. What is a compilation process? Once a request is taken by your JSP, first it checks for first I required to compile or not. Why I'm just making all these things? Because if JSP is modified since last compiled, if it is not modified as a last compiled, we don't require to go for any recompilation process. I told already, so one of the advantage I had my JSP. So that is first which is happening. So if it is required to go for a mandatory compilation, it requires to go for a compilation mandatorily, then it follows 3 steps for compilation. What is that? Parsing the JSP, then turning the JSP into servlet, then compiling your servlet to get your .class file. So what I just made it in the phase 1. First, you need to check out either compilation is required or not. Yes, if it is required, then I need to do these 3 things. What is the 3 things? Parsing, then turning the JSP into servlet, then compiling the servlets can be taken place. And next, as a JSP cycle is defined as a process, as a JSP life cycle is defined as what? A process. What this process shows actually, until your creation of your JSP, till the destruction, till the destroy method calls. Until you are in it, to till your destroy method is called, we call it as one process, right? And this life cycle, what as I'm explaining JSP, JSP life cycle, it is similar to servlet life cycle, right? Which is having one additional step. What is the additional step? Required to compile JSP into servlet. Required to compile a JSP into servlet, because in your servlet life cycle, we don't require to go for any transition. But whereas in the JSP, as you have just now, we have seen a life cycle, which is one of the additional step we required. And these following paths are followed by your JSP, that is compilation, initialization, execution, and cleanup. So initialization is mandatory, you know it, right? Then we are going with what after initialization? We are going for a compilation. Then after the compilation, we are going for execution, and we are going to clean up. So totally 4 parts we are followed by our JSP. So compared to your servlet, one is additional thing we had under my JSP programming. And once your JSP, or you want to initialize, first as you come to your initialization phase, how your initialization can be done, right? How your initialization is going to be taken place in your JSP, as is a part of life cycle only actually. Because when you go for JSP init, JSP destroy, JSP service, first we should understand what is the initialization we had. But before going to this initialization, up to this thing is clear to everyone. JSP life cycle, as I told, one additional thing we are carry over here compared with your servlet, and how the architecture of JSP goes on. Is everything is clear to everyone, or any queries we have as of now? Clear. Sunny is saying clear, right? What about others? For everyone it is clear, only for Sunny. Try to respond. Yeah. So one more response recorded. Yes, everyone is saying clear. Fine, that's good. If it is clear, we'll be very happy. Right. So I just recorded 4 responses out of 12. So I don't know what about other 8 students. Fine, we'll just continue with this thing. So architecture is clear, life cycle is clear. Now, when you want to implement this architecture in your life cycle, what is the first? Initialization is mandatory. Where we required, who is going to take this initialization part? So first, coming to when your JSP container, right, loads your JSP, when your container loads your JSP, it invokes first method number 1. What is your method number 1? JSP init method. So it happens what? Before servicing of any request, or before providing any request service, first JSP method is called. And what is the purpose of this method is, this initialization, it can be performed only once as you are doing in the servlet. Similarly, when you want to go for a specific initialization, right, a specific initialization you want to do, you can use this method called JSP init. Same thing happens in your servlet also. And what I can just made it here also, the common point for servlet and JSP, this init method is called only once in the servlets as well as in your JSP. And you generally initialize what the things when you want to connect your database, or whenever you want to open any files, or whenever you want to create lookup tables like this. Some of the initialization is required, right? At that time, for this, when you are using all these initialization things, that point you need to call this initialization of your JSP. So at that time, your JSP initialization is required. Now coming into my phase 3, right? So phase 1 is a compilation phase. Phase 2 is your initialization phase, and phase 3 is execution phase. So what happens in this phase? This phase of JSP lifecycle represents all interactions with
Excuse me,
request.
sir.
Yeah,
Sir, your screen is not visible to us.
yeah. Just give me a second. Maybe forget to share. Yeah. Hope now it is fine. No, it's fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Yeah. So I just made it about the JSP initialization. As of now, what is the purpose of initialization? And it is done with the JSP init method, right? How we are doing for servlet. And there will be, it is specifically this init method used for specific initialization, like database connectivities. You need some initialization of your connection object. Whenever you want to open any files, or whenever you want to look into your tables, what you have created. So some specific things, we need this initialization. And for this initialization, what is the method we are using? JSP init method. And how we are using syntactically, just you can see it. Public void JSP init is a method you need to call. And the code which the initialization things, whatever you require, you can reside or we can place inside your block of code. And not only that, when you go for an execution, so this phase, as I go for execution phase, it represents all interactions with request. What is from whom you are getting a request? From your client. When you are making a different request or when you are getting a different request from your client, I need to make all the interaction with that particular request. So until you need to complete the things which you made by the request by the client, you can't go for destroy, right? Whenever a browser request for so and so JSP, like previously we have in hello.jsp's request is made by the client, then what happens? The request which is made by the browser is immediately the page is loaded and initialized your one method. What is that method? Is called service method. Which service method is used to go for what? Taking the request and providing the response. How we are doing your servlet. The same thing here also we are doing. Once a browser requests a JSP file, then that page is loaded and initialized. Then your JSP container or JSP engine, we can call it as, invokes a method number 2 is called JSP service method. And what the JSP service method will do, it takes two things. One is HTTP servlet request and one more is HTTP servlet response. These are common things which we observe in servlet that will be loaded and creates an object, right? You can see the syntax of the same thing in the below, which you use it for to handle your service. And the JSP service method is invoked on request basis only, not every time. Generating a response for every request and generating all the response to back on using different type of methods like get, post, delete. So almost all, if you see this thing, we can make it as a common to my servlet only, but where some difference is there. So some difference we can observe. I told the difference we can make it when we are going with the example programs. When we start, we can find, okay, so this may be the difference. If I use servlet, maybe these things to be added. If I don't use my servlet, if I add JSP, what are the add-ons I'm doing? I can get it. But as of now, please try to get back to the things. As of now, what the things we observed is somewhat similar to my servlet only, like JSP init method, JSP service method, JSP destroy, there we are calling destroy. There I'm using request and response, here also I'm requesting response. There also I'm using some get and post methods. Here also I'm using get and post methods. So as of now, something common we have observed, right? So we'll just move into the next, and you go for a syntactical, how we are representing the things. At that time, we may get the points into consideration. What are the differences we can make it? So, okay. So that things we can try to complete, or the things we can take in the next session. So as of now, if any clarifications, any doubts you had, please make me queries in the chat box, or post your queries in the chat box so that I can respond to your queries if anything is there. If nothing, you can mention is a clear. Then you can just post your attendance and you can leave. And I wish you all the best for your tomorrow's exam. Yes, two more. Yeah, Mohammed, you can leave. Neeraj is still pending with your attendance. Please post your attendance, Neeraj, so that we can end our session. I'll just wait for 1 minute. Then I will end my session.